And when you start getting plugged into how do they want to run the business, what is it that drives the business, then you as a tax person can be value add. You can talk to them about deferring gains with 1031 exchanges or trying to be creative with an UPREIT transaction if a buyer wants to defer tax gain. So learn your toolkit in tax, learn the business, and then try to find a way to help the business people get the business deal done they want.
Joining me today is Kathy Miller, Senior Vice President of Tax with Regency Centers. Kathy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you've been with Regency Centers for more than 30 years. In that time, how would you say the tax function at the company and really within the REIT industry as a whole has evolved?
You know, I think the change has primarily been driven by the change in the organizational structure. When Regency first went public, it was a small REIT operating in the Southeast, and what we did was really more strictly compliance and just making sure we were learning the rules and not blowing the statutes in any way. And over time, as we've grown, we've converted to an UPREIT. We have our joint venture partner program where we invest with institutional investors and manage those properties. That's increased our compliance load, but it also increases our need to coordinate with our partners, to provide information to outsiders. You know, and finally, today, we spend a lot of our time not just checking the boxes and making sure we qualify as a REIT, but trying to figure out for all of those various entities, how do we forecast and project our taxable income so that we get ahead of what's coming, so that we're ready for what the future brings.
And what tips do you have for those tax professionals just starting their careers in the REIT industry, or those looking to possibly get involved with the industry?
I'd say give it a whirl in real estate. You're going to learn a lot. You know, again, depending on the structure, if you like tax, it's a great way to just get started in the industry. You'll get to do lots of different types of work, corporate work, REIT work, partnership work, state work, all of that keeps your tax skills up. But first and foremost, understand the business. Learn how real estate is valued. Understand that the NOI stream is capped and that's how the value is created. And when you start getting plugged into how do they want to run the business, what is it that drives the business, then you as a tax person can be value add. You can talk to them about deferring gains with 1031 exchanges or trying to be creative with an UPREIT transaction if a buyer wants to defer tax gain. So learn your toolkit in tax, learn the business, and then try to find a way to help the business people get the business deal done they want. Make it so tax can say yes, not no, we can't do that, which is sometimes not easy to do.
All right. And at one time, e-commerce was supposed to spell the end of traditional brick and mortar retail. That obviously hasn't happened. How have the two learned to coexist and even thrive in the current retail landscape?
Well, you know, in our space, we are primarily grocery anchored shopping centers. And as we all know, during COVID, people really did start to buy their groceries online and get them delivered. But it didn't last very long. As you know, people were sort of first to go back to the grocery stores. Now, that doesn't mean that a lot of us aren't buying our paper goods and paper plates off Amazon because it's easier to do. But I think what we've learned, at least in our business, is the shopping centers that are in the neighborhoods where you live, because more people are working from home, that it becomes a community and people want to go to their grocery store and pick out their meat and their fruit, maybe not the paper products, and see their neighbors there. So I really do think we've transitioned back into people want to go, at least in the food industry, to pick out what it is they're going to eat and serve and provide their family.